She was part of the journey when the idea was first conceived. And today, the Department of Social Development and GovChat enjoy a powerful and impactful partnership. It is my pleasure to welcome the Minister, Lindiwe Zulu. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Program Director, and thank you very much for directing the program very well. And now we have to get used to this type of work. You see, I didn't even think. I was wondering how are we going to see the signing and all. I think now I know how it's done now. We are learning a lot, and I think we must adjust to this. The UN Resident Coordinator of South Africa, Ambassador Nados Bekele Thomas, thank you so much, my sister, for always being there. The relationship between South Africa in general and the Department of Social Development and the United Nations, almost all the agencies that are here, is really working very well for us. And I know that it's working because we are keeping the connection, we are talking to each other, we are helping each other navigate all challenges that we are facing, and in particular now, having found ourselves in the difficult situation of COVID-19. The Deputy Director General and Head of the National Disaster Management Center, Dr. Mapaka Tau, CEO and founder of GovChat, Mr. Eldred Jordan. And I understand why you become very emotional at any time that you are expected to speak. Those of us who've walked the journey with you long before we even became ministers of anything, when you were still at Mixit, and the challenges that came with it, and us saying to you, don't give up. Wear your boots at all times. Wear your boots at all times, and you've worn your boots at all times. And I think what is more important for me and very exciting is the co-creation of what we have here. And you yourself have said it, that the success story is due to co-creation. I'm hoping that that co-creation, as we have seen it moving from a South African perspective into global, through what is being signed here with the United Nations, in particular, the memorandum. I'm hoping that this memorandum will not be like other memorandums. We keep signing them, and then they end up in some shelves somewhere. I'm hoping that this will not be the case. But knowing you, Eldred, as well as my ambassador, my sister Nados Bekele Thomas, knowing how you latch on everything that you come across and you push it to make it work, I'm hoping that this will be the same. I just thought, as I was preparing myself for this, I'm currently reading Yuval Noah Harari, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And allow me to quote, and the reason why I'm quoting is because what we're doing here fits in very well with the future. He writes that under chapter 4 of equality, those who own data own the future. And this, it started way back. Yourselves, you started thinking about the data and all that. He says those who own data own the future. And I quote him, and he says, in the last few decades, people all over the world were told that humankind is on the path to equality and globalization, and the new technologies will help us get there sooner. In reality, the 21st century might create the most unequal societies in history. And I'm hoping that what we are doing here will do the opposite. It will enable us to bridge what he's talking about here in the creation of unequal society. Further, where he speaks about who owns the data owns the future, he says, if you want to prevent the concentration of all wealth and power in the hands of a small elite, the key is to regulate the ownership of data. And I think that Ambassador Bekele spoke to that issue, and I'm continuing the quotation, and it says, in ancient times, land was the most important asset in the world. Politics was a struggle to control land. And if too much land became concentrated in few hands, society split into aristocrats and commoners. And he says, I continue quoting, in the modern era, machines and factories became more important than land, and political struggles focused on controlling these vital means of production. If too many of the machines became concentrated in the hands of the few, society split into capitalists and proletarians. In the 21st century, however, data will eclipse both land and machinery as the most important asset, and politics will be a struggle to control the flow of data. If data becomes concentrated in too few hands, humankind will split into different species. I don't know what will it become, and I close that quote. Now, the reason why I thought it was important for me to quote what I'm currently reading, basing myself on the fact that we are looking for solutions to our problems. And at the center of us looking for solutions to our problems, it is about responding to the needs of the people. And so when that presentation was being made earlier on here, it clearly indicates, and by the way, it responds very well to what the president said to us as he was ending our Lihutla, and by the way, moving from the Lihutla of the governing party to the Lihutla of government. A president speaks to the issues issues of ensuring that we respond to the needs of our people. We speak about economic reconstruction and recovery, and the president is saying that it's very clear that this must be done in order to stabilize, recover, be efficient, but most of all, implement decisions of government. That is the policies, the strategies in order to ensure transformation and inclusion. He speaks about inclusion, and that is where government needs to focus on. Further, he speaks to us, and I quote, that we must manage the pandemic, we must drive economic recovery, employment support and relief must also be at the center. And there you are, GovChat, you are speaking to the fact that we are able to reach out to people who are in far-flung areas as a way of communicating with them. Because when all is said and done, the president says, all these things that we are doing, we are not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it in order to respond to the challenges that are faced by our people. And President Ramaphosa also speaks directly to what we have to do to deal with the 12 million unemployed. Consistently, he keeps talking about the 12 million unemployed. He directs us to craft a path to address the 12 million people who are unemployed, but also faced with other social ills. It not only just talks about the fact that they have a need from a point of view of being supported by the government, but he says there are other social ills such as gender-based violence and femicide, gender inequality, and the president calls on us to be as bold as we possibly can, be innovative. And again, you come across GovChat, you see, you have to look at this new innovation of getting citizens to be able to communicate with government without having to go and stand in some queues, and in queues where they are not even being assisted. They travel long distances to get there. And when they get there, they are turned back and they are told, no, the money is not there anymore. They've borrowed the money to get there. So the president is simply saying, we have to be innovative and not hold back. And I quote him directly because I think it has to be important to be appreciated and understood that we have a leadership that wants us to focus on the needs of the people. And the president further says, we can only respond adequately if we know our people. What is GovChat doing? He says who they are, where they live, what their needs are, and that our programs must be designed to reach them and address their needs. I think that nothing as important is as what we are witnessing today here today, because this is what is going to be able to assist us in responding exactly to what the president is saying. So today's event for me comes at an important juncture where we have to use this MOU to further advance the government of the Republic of South Africa's partnership with the United Nations and its development agencies. So the signing of this MOU is a game changer in many respects, and those respects are what I just said earlier on, as properly articulated by the president. So we look forward to being able to utilize data, the digital platform, to improve service delivery within the context, in this case, of the district development model. And I must tell you, one of the things that Eldred understood from the very beginning was this model, this district development model. And for him and his team to then go and have conversations, firstly with the department, with COGTA, and then moving into COGTA and then discussing with health, and then of course being confronted by COVID-19, and then looking at how can we respond in order for us to do exactly what the president is saying, that we need to, our programs must address the needs of our people. How do we make it easy? This is how it's going to be made easy, because the data is going to be very, very important, and the data is always important. But most importantly is, when do people reach to government? When does government reach to the people? When does government know where the problem is, and how does government respond adequately to that? And so just last week, the Department of Social Development, in partnership with UNICEF, launched the Community-Based Prevention and Early Intervention Program, which we called RISIHA, in Mpumalanga, which seeks to strengthen and support child protection system at family and community level. There we go again. What is it that we can do to make sure that our communities, it's made easy for them, for the children, it's made easy for them to communicate with the relevant departments? It's not just about social development. We are responsible for the well-being of our people, but all the other things and all the other programs that government does have to respond to our people. The people that we serve are about ensuring that they live in a conducive environment, and the conducive environment is created for them to be able to work for themselves. The people that we are talking about must be in safe communities, and safe communities, it means the department, the police and the department and justice are able to connect to the people as quickly as they possibly can. And therefore, DSD portfolio has and will continue to work with GovChat on a number of key citizen center innovations that have enabled us to fast track the digitization of our services. And this include SASSA's online booking system for temporary disability grant, special COVID-19 social relief of distress, Vangasali program, which is the one that is helping us to empower your NPO so that they can comply, so that they can be able to respond on time. And therefore, one important lesson emerging from, for instance, COVID-19 is the importance of digitizing public service to foster wider and more effective service delivery. Digitization can directly improve the efficiency and effectiveness of service delivery by lowering the costs associated with delivery. A case in point is the introduction of the biometric system at SASSA, which has significantly saved the fiscus and cut down on fraud and corruption in our social system. We are just at the beginning of that, and I'm sure that we will continue. I'm confident that with our concerted efforts, the MOU that GovChat and the UN are signing today will deliver the benefits for government and the people of South Africa. We look forward to translating the words of this MOU into action. I thank you.